What's up, everyone? So, to say that I was impatiently waiting for this one would be a massive understatement. Vincent, a really good buddy over on THP, sent over a awesome box of pods, just loaded with stuff that I've never tried before, and I was just kind of waiting to get my hands on it to do a couple of reviews. And they were supposed to come in yesterday. I was tracking the package when I was at work. I knew that, I said that it was out for delivery at like 9:30 in the morning, and then so I get home and I was like, it's not here. So I waited and I waited, and I actually went to all my neighbors and was like checking their mailboxes to make sure they didn't do it on, or didn't put in the wrong one. I called and asked for permission first, but it wasn't there. So I ended up calling the postal service. They redirected me to my local hub, and they were like, "Oh well, call back in the morning." So I called back this morning, and apparently somehow it didn't make it on the truck. But anyways, I was worried because they're pods, and you know how, especially thin-skin pods, they can go kind of south pretty quickly. So luckily, everything came in great condition. I don't think anything is super soft or too soft. So I was really excited and impressed with what he sent over. There is a lot of stuff in here that I haven't tried before, so I'm really excited to kind of go through these and see what, how these things go. And I'm going to review until they get too soft for me to review. I'll probably stick them in the fridge to kind of keep them going longer, or as long as I can. A couple of them aren't marked. He said he was in a rush on them, but I'll get with him to make sure I'm doing the right thing. But he sent over a Reaper. He sent over a Primo, which this looks way more gnarly than the Reaper. And this is cool. This is the Jalabonero, which is pretty interesting. This is a cream Fatali. I've never seen one of these before, but this is like really, it's almost like peach looking. Really cool. White boot. And then we get into some of the crazy ones. Naga Viper. The SB7J, which is, I'm really excited about this one. The Vladin Viper, which is really exciting because this is a little bit different, bred from another grower out there. The Billy Boy Douglas, which I love. I love these pods. I tried one last year from Silver Surfer. Really good pod. The Sepia Serpent, which is exciting because I tried the Douglas Trinidad Scorpion Cross last year, and this is what this came out of that after they bred for shape. And then the UBSC, the Unknown Brain Strain Cross. Really super excited about this. And like everything inside of me tells me to eat this. This is what I want to do tonight. This is like, out of this entire box, this is what I want the most. But in order to get the most bang from the box, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the Sepia Serpent tonight because this is thinner skinned, and this UBSC is very firm, and I know it can wait another day. So tonight I'm going to bust through and I'm going to try out the Sepia Serpent. Really cool looking pod. This thing is, to get an idea of shape, it's bigger than a golf ball. It's gorgeous. Really nice Douglas look as far as color. That nice mahogany to brown somewhere in there, like nice deep brown kind of hue to it. Really gnarly shape. I can tell it's thin, but it looks very healthy. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut this thing open. Then I'm gonna cut away, take a couple pictures, and be back to eat. Hopefully tonight the sun stays up long enough for me to be able to not have to worry about getting in and spending 3 hours in post-production trying to mess with brightness and contrast. The only reason I have one of these knives in this video, I got like a dozen of these, but the only reason I pulled it out is because I see all the other good reviewers like Ted and Todd. They got cool knives, so I decided to be part of the club. Cut it open. A lot of oil on this knife. It's got a nice mild Chinance smell to it. Let's see the inside of these things. Actually, the inside is really a lot of placenta, high seed pocket. You can see there's a bunch of oil kind of pooling in the back. Really nice smell to it. So the placenta almost looks like it's like a sponge red. Really nice. You can tell it's very ripe. It's like perfect. So let me cut away for a second and take some pictures. Oh, okay, so I'm back. So let's hope my camera holds up, or the sun holds up for me. I'm gonna try to bust through this. I just noticed my camera just hit the red as far as battery goes, but whatever. Cheers. Oh, oh my God, hot already. I could feel the heat concentrating. Typically, the same place where you usually, as soon as you start to chew, that's where you're gonna get the first punch of the heat. But it's starting to slowly build. Uh, very good flavor. A lot like what I remember from last year. Like I mentioned before, I tried the precursor to this, so I knew kind of what I was getting into as far as flavor and heat. It's starting to build, or it's continuing to build. I expected it to be a little bit faster, just based on last time, but it seems to take its sweet time. I didn't bring any tissues, napkins, or anything. Heat's concentrating on the tongue, tip, side, a little bit in the throat as I breathe. Kind of goes over the tongue. Very. The one thing that I notice immediately is the flavor is consistent with last time as far as pleasantness. It's very light. It's refreshing. This thing's taking a sweet ass time, but it just seems to like continue to go. Oh, eyes are starting to water now. I can feel kind of sweat a little bit. It's kind of like playing like a little bit of mind games with me, because I'm waiting for it to get hotter, but I notice it building more. So it's like, sometimes it's almost better just to hit me at once, just so I know where I'm at, instead of like this where I'm like, oh, this ain't too bad, and then it just kind of keeps on building. A little bit in the fingers, tips of the fingers. I'd still place this somewhere on the medium end of the spectrum. Really good flavor. Starting to pound a bit. Nowhere near as hot as I expected it to be now. Last year I hit panic mode somewhere in the 3 minute round. But I'm 3 minutes and 41 seconds in, and I don't think it's really going to get any hotter. Don't get me wrong, it's hot. But I'd say like it's more body tripping. Some of you may get that than anything else. 4 minutes 20 seconds in, and I think it's peaked, I guess. Disappointing heat level. I expected it to be a lot hotter, especially for the way it looked and for the experience I had last year. Tongue's kind of still there. Nothing crazy. I know what you're thinking, like, well, I ate the other half, but no. I do all my reviews the same way. I think it's important to establish a baseline and stay consistent with that baseline. I don't need the whole pod. I don't need to. There's nothing that other half of the pod is going to tell me, except for the fact that I will have nothing to compare it to. I go with a half a pod because that's what I know, that's what I stick to. That's one way for me to judge, continue to talk, and experience the pepper without blowing my palate out, blowing my heat out. It's just like anything. I can judge everything if I eat the same amount. Half a pod should give me the baseline on just about anything else I eat, so that's what I stick to. It's got a great flavor. It's got a great shape. It's got a great size. It's up there in between that. It's up there in that bigger than a golf ball range. But it doesn't have the heat to back it up. At least this pod. Now Silver Surfer may have some different ones here on, but I believe these came from Silver Surfer. So let's go on a little bit of background. Let's see, I got a couple minutes before my camera will cut out, and the sun's still up. You should be able to see my beautiful face. 6 minutes in. Okay, so where did this pod come from? This pod came from Silver Surfer breeding a Douglas or Trinidad 7-pot Douglas with a Trinidad Scorpion. 7-pot Douglas. I hate when it's like Trinidad 7-pot Douglas. It's just redundant. 7-pot Douglas with a Trinidad Scorpion. And that's what I reviewed last year. Go back and look at the Douglas Cross Scorpion F3. It was in Generation 3. The Sepia Serpent came out of that. It was bred for shape. There was a lot of inconsistencies with pod shape with the Douglas Trinidad Scorpion F Series. So they took some time, attempted to stabilize, and they're still in the process of stabilizing, like I talked about a little bit before. They kind of, they're picking and choosing. A lot of growers are growing it, and I believe they're sharing back that the isolated seed back with Silver Surfer so we can get a nice stockpile. This pod puts off a tremendous amount of seeds. I'd say somewhere in the 50+ range. So it's great, especially if you're trying to stabilize this specific phenotype. You probably could get plenty of plants out of this one. Mix in with, harvest a pod off of 3 different plants, put them together at kind of randomization, grow another slew of plants, and you probably get a pretty good reaction off of that. I do remember the last one being hotter. And I got a lot of flack from the peach scorpion or the peach ghost scorpion because Ted, who's a monster, he got taken in the cleaners. The Biz, he got taken in the cleaners, man. That thing, it hit him pretty damn hard. Hey, all I can say is that pods hit people differently. I get hit, like I had a jalapeno the other day that, I hate saying this, but it blew my pants off. I was like, oh my god, my mouth, it felt like I put my lips on a hot iron. Nowhere in the super hot range as far as like body feel and overall heat level, but as far as like just way that pods affect people, they just hit people differently. For me, this one I would say tier 3 heat. Tier 1 flavor, I really like it. It's mild. It's not really citrusy. It's not really fruity. It's somewhere in between. It's got a great balance. It's got an awesome shape, and I know that they produce loads of pods, so I'd say somewhere in that tier 2 or 1 as far as vigor and production. But I would say that as far as heat goes, I'd give it a pass. If you're looking for the other aspects of it, then hey, this one's probably one to grow. But as far as heat level, not impressed. Great looking pod, great flavor, but hey, I gotta be honest, I got a bunch more to go through, so I'm gonna tell you how I feel or what I think about each of these pods. So, Vincent, awesome. Thanks for the box. I'm really excited. Tomorrow will be the UBSC. I'm having dreams about this bad boy tonight. But I got a bunch of other these that I'm really going to go through. So I'm excited about going through and doing a couple pod reviews for you. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you everybody for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. And until next time, enjoy.